Right, this is a fast session, people. Really fast. I could go outside, I could do some jobs. I just got this craving to go fishing because the wind's down. I'm gonna have what I'm gonna call a freezer clear out. You guys know I freeze everything down. Look, sand eels, prawns, sweet corn. Right, sweet corn, we're gonna get rid of what we can. There we go, sweet corn, that can go. Prawns, might hang on to those. What else have we got? Got the wife's food in there. Poor woman hasn't got much. Oh, whiting from the mega whiting session I had down at Beer. Got loads of whiting. What's in here? Oh dear, that's nasty. But have a look. I think some maggots in there, a bit of ground bait. I'll keep these because we eat the whiting. I don't eat them, I use them as bait. Squid. Oh, here we go. That is like casters or something there. Probably some of Grant's maggots that I've had for ages. Some of this stuff have been here for years. Some more squid bait. So look guys, I'm having a freezer clear out. I'm going to see what I can catch. Seafood, don't want that. That's all sea fishing because I'm in sea fishing mode. So we have a clear out, put the squid back. Graeme, don't let the wife have that thawing out. So I've got some stuff here. Corn, bits and pieces of maggots. See what I can find of rubbish to throw in. And I reckon roach and silvers is what I'm going for. I don't really want carp, I really don't. Probably get them, but it's the way it is. Right, into the garage, get some tackle. Of course, I only just made this decision quickly, so you want to get this stuff thawed out. I'll try not to do it thawing out in warm water. But I don't even know what that is in there, to be honest. But I'm trying to go in about a few hours time, so I'm going to try and get this all thawed out. It's all going to get wet anyway, and it's all going to go in the water. If I give it 2 or 3 hours in there, hopefully by the time I'm ready to dive over to Watmore, they will have thawed out a bit. And look, that tells you it's a last minute trip. I was still in my slippers. It's just looking at it, we've had this awful grey blanket cloud for so long. All you want to do is load up the log burner with the wood. But I hate the cold. You people must know, you follow us. I absolutely hate the cold. Gonna get the cameras ready. I'm doing all my book work over there. I just thought, gee, I've had enough of this. I've got to go fishing. I want to go out, catch some silvers, roach, maybe bream, before it gets too cold, and fingers crossed we'll get something to show you people.
Cool. Hi Graeme, I believe you're having a freezer clear out of all your old maggots and bits, so we were talking about, I'll give you some little tips about freezing maggots and how you want to do it. So one of the problems you generally get with a frozen maggot, so you put your maggot in the freezer. Quite lucky, I have a blast freezer, so it freezes it pretty much instantly. Within under 5 minutes, that is a solid block in my freezer, which helps it stop being less squidgy when it all falls out. So sometimes you'll find if you open your frozen maggots up, leave them on the side, they go black. I don't know if you've had that before, they go real black colour. Yeah. And that's normally they're just changing, so the colour comes out. So what we do is if you've got a frozen maggot, straight in water. Alright, doesn't let the air get to it, and then it should keep a bit of colour, like a pale pink. So what we've been doing...
If you've got frozen maggots, so you take them straight out to thaw?
Straight out of this,
yeah.
And I would bung them straight in water.
Really?
Yeah, but the only thing they will do when they're still frozen in a block, they float.
Yes,
which I discovered when I tried baiting up, throwing a block of frozen maggots in.
Birds love it.
Yeah, I watched it float off down the lake, so yeah, we don't do that. So what I do for my match anglers, because they are very fussy with their bait, they're quite picky, they always ask me for dead maggots, so we've always got some going on ready for the orders. So rather than freeze it, to keep the colour in it so it stays red, or like the fluoro pinkies those are, we seal it in a bag and chuck it in the fridge, and we suffocate it that way basically to take the air out of it, which then kills your maggots. So that's your dead maggot.
So it stay in the fridge for how long, right?
That's it. Well, you keep it 2 weeks, like
no, really?
Probably longer. Yeah. So you feel it's cold, it's probably, we keep the fridge at about 2 degrees, so it is pretty cold. But what I find is you don't get the blackness.
Yeah.
You get a better quality on the maggot. But don't get me wrong, if you're using bait up and stuff, use it up. The fish will eat it in a ground bait and stuff like that. But that's what we find best for our dead maggots. We suffocate them like 3 or 4 days before we go fishing in the fridge, and then they're ready to go. And you ain't got to thaw anything out. You're just straight on the bank and fishing.
See what happens with me? I got the casters, so that's your good caster.
That's a good caster. Yeah.
Obviously, I'm out. I'm fishing. It might be sunny, it might not be. Give them a couple of days in the fridge. They're starting to turn, aren't they? So then I've bunged them in the freezer. Yeah. And when I've got them out this morning, loads of them are blacks. I'm pretty sure they're floaters.
Black, grey, they float. Unfortunately, caster doesn't freeze like maggots, so you will get a few floats. I would say like introduce into a ground bait, smash it up, get it in there and feed it in that way, because the caster's quite temperamental. So like when you buy caster, I had one guy come to me and say, well, I opened it and it all went dark and black. I said, well, it will do because it's still alive. Our caster's still alive in that bag. Yeah, because there was a little pocket of air in there.
Oh, I see that.
So that is still alive. So what you'll get is, you buy in pre-packed from the maggot farms. They suffocate it all, and so when you open it, it goes like a funny grey colour. Yeah. And it sounds odd to say, you'll see what I mean if you guys have ever opened up and there's like a greyish colour to your caster. But it's because they've had no air, so as soon as the air comes, exposes to them, they change colour. But so when you open these, you bung them straight in water, unless you want to darken them off. Some of the guys like to open them up, let them darken off a bit, and then they chuck them in water.
So they're darkening in what space of time, Grant? Hour?
Oh no, like 10 minutes, 20 minutes. So it depends how cold it is, to be fair. It's all to do with the temperature. So if it's warmer, it will turn much faster, but say like today's a bit chillier, so it just take a bit longer. So, but yeah, and obviously we've got some fresh maggots in there. So
if people got those, say you got maggots left over in the winter, they're not being turned, you think, should I throw them in or take them back and help ground bait another session? You bag them to suffocate them first.
Them, and Joe, if you're going to go in the next 2 weeks, I would just do that. I'd bag them like in a bag, take the air out, chuck them in the fridge and leave them like that. Just put them in a bait box in there. Don't worry, when you open them, you'll smell the ammonia. Be a little smell to it, but you can, if you really want, if you're that fussy, is you could put them in the bait box, put some water in there, rinse them off. And
I've learned something there. So I freeze them live.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, if you suffocate them first, you don't need to freeze them. You can fridge them.
You can fridge them. Yeah, and you'll keep. Well, these are this week's, because we do fresh every week now. So like on Monday we do them up ready for the weekend. So because sometimes if you don't do it early enough, so I gave them 48 hours, 72 hours, they can come back round sometimes.
Oh really? Recover, yeah.
So we used to do them in water as well. So we used to get a bottle, fill it 3/4 of maggots, and then put water in it, fill it at the top, and just shut the lid and just throw it in my fridge, and then that would be ready in a few days, and pour it in my bait box, and that's what I use. But we've just been doing it in the bags, it's easier.
Well, there you go.
Bottle, so.
I'll give it a go. I've only got 3 hours fishing because it's a bit cold for me, but there's tips there, and I didn't know about some of those tips, and it just shows you, if you come in with Grant, you're going to get some halfway decent bait.
Yes, yeah, well, we make a big effort with the bait. We've got guys coming from all over the place, from Sussex, Kent, all for the match leagues. They pick up squats off us, casters, we do pinkies, we do worms, red worms. This is another one that's not seen so often now, so yeah, we're doing a good selection of bait, so yeah, pop in and have a look, guys.
So I've got my bait, I'm down at Watmore and I've got the bait there thawing out. You can see there the colour of the casters and other stuff I've got in there, so hopefully that's thawed out a bit. And I guess basically trying to find silvers like roach and small bream, pretty much go anywhere, I think. Let's get unloaded. Right, well, I'm set up, got my glasses on, not that I'm going to see any fish like this. I've thrown out some sweet corn already. As Grant said about the ice in bait, the ice is not all out of the sweet corn, it is indeed floating away. Lucky it's not taking any fish with it. So I did bait up, literally, we're going to call it a rod length out there. Just touched some of the corn out, and to say I started there and it's drifted over there already. It's lovely and flat, 1 or 2 little tiny dimples around. I've plumbed up here with the plumb weight to get the bait on the bottom. Now whether I'll have to go shallow to get the roach, I don't know. Probably will, and I'll get more likely to get them with it falling through the water. So we'll give it a go, see what we can find on the bottom. Maybe I'm thinking bream on the bottom, roach further up, and probably some small perch. So it's just an exercise in having a freezer clear out, getting rid of some of the bait, keeping the wife happy, and of course it's already been used on a previous trip, so it's sort of free, which is like one of my favourite words. There's another 4-letter word like free, F-R-E-E. Well, it depends if I blank or not, doesn't it? So one match what I've got, it's about 6 feet deep close in. It's very, very deep. I've got one of Grant's pole floats, which I've re-rigged on there. Size 14 hook. I think it goes to £4, and I've tied on about size 14-eyed hook there. Previously, because I'd lost the hook on the spade end, and lost that. The other rod has got the old repaired waggler on. I hope that's not rain coming down. It's looking a bit ominous, but I think I've got my umbrella with me. The waggler float there, which I've repaired, antenna float, snapped. Look, I just repaired it with a piece of valve rubber that we use for the floats anyway. So throw nothing away. And this one I will fish on the bottom. It takes more shot, as you can see. So I'm going to fish that one on the bottom, probably with a single grain of corn, and hope, fingers crossed, I can locate a bream. So the bait on this one, I've got a single grain of sweet corn there, and I've put on, you might just be able to see it, 2 dead maggots. And of course the benefit of dead maggots, and which I match them like, now you can use them on a barbless hook and they don't wriggle off. So dead maggots, no problem. They're a bit what we call stretched. Let's just get it out there. I don't want to be too far out, it is deep there. Check the drag. Now the weight of that corn should also pull the float down a bit. And then I'm going to try over here. Oh, the float's settled. The float's going, sinking. I've got these casters which are frozen again, there's ice in them. The float's gone, but I don't think it's a fish. Now I can see it underneath. I'm going to try a few casters on the other one, because very often the roach do like the casters. Something peculiar happened with that float. And the weather is weird. So I've got 3 frozen casters on that one, and that is fished quite a bit shallower. It's not going to be on the bottom. I just want to see what the bite situation might be like. The one I never do any good with is frozen worm. I've never done much good with that. It just tends to go like sort of mush. And you can't put bank sticks in the staging, so I just got my carry bag there. I'm not quite sure why this is sinking. It might be. I'll go deeper to find out if it is something wrong with the float, and if not, I'll have to change it. Dreaded cormorant up there. Bang. Well, I'm going to throw some of these. Look, you can see in there's bits of bread, maggots, ground bait, and they're gone. If I show you one. There, that's how he's gone, a sort of grey colour. And the fish will still eat them. I'm going to, something peculiar wrong with that float. Chuck some frozen corn out there. Hopefully by now it's thawed out. Not an unpleasant day to fish, but we've had like 2 weeks of this weather. It's absolutely great for boat fishing at sea because there's no wind, but it's just depressingly grey, like what we call it blanket cloud. Let's get this float changed. Well, had no bites for about, well, no bites. Not for about, I've had no bites. Having said that, I just bailed a load of bait in, and the frozen ground bait is just pretty well thawed out now. I put a couple of 3 balls in there, you know, this size, tennis ball size I suppose you'd say, and I just missed a couple of bites. Struck, didn't feel a thing on the right hand float. So whether that was a bit of stimulation they wanted, and I've got them both hopefully on the bottom now, so fingers crossed to get a bit of action. Slow though, but look, other than the seagull up there who's berating me with his tunes, it's lovely for float fishing, lovely and still. Tis cold, you know, it's not freezing cold, but it's cold, that's why I've got the old woolly hat on. And you can see the floats are down there, but I have had a couple of little tweaks down there, so Fingers crossed something moves in on me. It might be down, as it is at Watmore so many times. Might be down to shooting that seagull. It might be down to that last hour and a half or so. Psst. Oh no, it is. They're probably after the bits of floating sweet corn. One's trying to chase the others off. Oh, float's on the move. Just going to the left. Just dragging very slowly. There's no wind, so it can't be anything but... And I missed it again. I think I'm going to have to go to a single frozen maggot. The thing is, in the winter, you don't really know how heavy or light to feed. Generally, they say when it's getting cold weather that light feeding is better. But I mean, I tried little pellety bits, loose feed bits and pieces, nothing. And then I just walloped a couple of 3 balls in, and I did actually get a couple of bites, which I've missed. I've now gone to 2, dropped from 4 to 2 frozen maggots. I'm pretty sure the sweet corn's off, and I got sweet corn with tipped with sort of a grey dead maggot on the other side. Try caster, nothing yet, nothing. But it seems like nothing is moved into the swim. I think it's time to investigate what is in the nose bag. That feels like bait. Did you find that, guys, when your bites are slow, you end up eating a lot? I know we do see fish and we think, oh, no bites, what can we do? Oh, let's have something to eat. There we go, cocktail sausages. What more could you ask on a cool winter's day? Might try a piece of those on a hook. Well, we have saved the blank, but in a minuscule fashion. As with the sort of slow, draggy bites, which is for a small perch, is quite unusual. What's not unusual is the fact that he's throated the maggots. I'm sure I'm not alone when I say that the weather patterns seem to be changing, because for the last, I'm going to say 3 years, I've noticed if we have high, maybe 4 years, if we have a high pressure, generally do associate high pressure with blasting all the cloud off, clear skies, and in the winter cold nights. It doesn't seem that way now. We get high pressure, and this is one that's been dropped over us for some time, but it's cloud all the time, which I find most bizarre. It just, as far as I'm concerned, it shouldn't be happening. It should be banned. It's perfect for float fishing, but I don't know, the fish, do you find they feed better in a still water on a low pressure, or do you find they're better on high pressure? High pressure, sometimes you get settled winds, nice and dry, nicer for fishing maybe, but if the fish don't feed, they don't feed, end of. I think if I had to opt for favourite one, it would be probably low pressure coming in, kicks the fish off into feeding. That'd be me, but let us know in the comments page what you guys think. Low pressure or high pressure, what do you think affects them and kicks them off, especially this time of year when the water temperatures start to drop a little bit. I've lost another little perch, and I've missed a couple of little sort of drifty, draggy bites, which I'm fairly sure are perch anyway. Nobody else fishing. Looks like it's pegged out for a match tomorrow. That'd be probably the midweek matches, I think. Come on, I want to see a bit more bite action. I'm still catching a few perch, nothing bigger come yet, but a marginally larger perch here. But I'm not going to put too much more bait in, because you never know whether you can overfeed in the winter. That's the trouble. And if anything, I would suggest I can be a little heavy-handed. Well, I was talking to Carol, and she said that the matches they've had, their silvers matches, have been, you know, well respected. People have been catching fish up to sort of 20 pounds a weight of silvers in a 5-hour match, which is a lot of silver fish, and that would be your bream and your roach and stuff like that. So I'm not looking for 20 pounds, I'm looking for 1 pound of anything. I've gone very slightly farther out there, but just see what happens. So at the moment, just the odd small perch. Our little spiky friends are still coming here. Very small. Oh shit. Well, our little spiky friends there, they're still coming. Not many of them, I hasten to say. Oh, what do we try next? I'm going to try a couple of casters. I'm curious as to why I haven't caught roach yet. There's a reasonable amount of bait in there. I've got some really close as well down here. But normally, if you have cast and it's sinking down through the water, the roach wouldn't leave it alone. The bait wouldn't reach the bottom. They'd nail it on the way up. But very quiet. I've still got plenty of frozen ground bait. I've got some of the dead stretched sort of maggots there, look. See those? They'll eat those as well. And the corn. And of course the regular frozen casters there, which are the dark ones, which actually, if I drop them over here, you might be able to see. Although they're dark, quite a lot of those are sinking, just going down through the water. I've seen nothing down. I've got a little handful of corn and bait down there, nothing. I feel worms will catch better in the winter like this, small brandlings, but they're certainly, as far as I can see all the way around there, really still, I've got better fish on, guys. I don't know what it is. It looks like a trout. That's a handy stock trout in it. It's just zooming around like crazy. It's trying to go down by the rushes. What is that? That's a weird fish. Is that I don't know what it is, guys. I don't know what it is. It's swimming to the other line, but it doesn't matter now. Oh, is that a chub or a grass carp? It's a chub. Well, I laid the rod down. I moved that other rod in, I untangled it, laid it down, and then a perch took it literally underneath this staging. So I wonder if stuff's going to start moving now. There you go again. And there we go, a long last, a roach. So it's a chub, perch and roach. I've still got bait left. Well, I have lost a carp, just hook pulled. I have no idea how big it was. It could have been £5, could have been bigger, I don't know. Just Joe average carp, probably 5 to 7s or something like that. Pulled a low line off, playing it, hook pulled out. Could have been fouled, could have been, but I didn't come back with a scale on the hook, which you normally do. So it's horrible grey blanket cloud, a bit cold as well, damp. And what I find is I've got 2 body warmers and a hoodie on, and my arms are still cold because body warmers don't have any sleeves to them. So when you get older, just remember, body warmers won't keep your arms warm. Mistake I made there. So I've learned previously when I've been out on walks with the wife and daughter, they said, why are you so cold then? I said, I don't know, I've got body warmer on. Yeah, but it's my arms. And of course your heart's pumping the blood all down to your arms to try and keep them warm, and it makes you cooler inside. A few more fish would be nice. I've had a load of perch I haven't filmed, all the same size. I'm going to say bring on the winter, bring on the spring. Only 5 months to wait. Look forward to it. Well, I think I can dispense with my glasses. It's getting pretty dark now. Not dark, just dark for looking with the glasses. This one keeps dragging out the swim a bit, unfortunately. More of the same, little perch like this, plenty of them out there. I don't know, I mean, I've had 20 I suppose, but no sign of anything bigger, so I'm going to give it about 30 minutes to call it quits. Well, you did say it's never over till it's over, and I've got a decent fish hooked up. I have no idea if he's going to stay on. The last one pinged off, so as sure as casters are floaters and burnt and frozen, then this is going to be a carp for sure. Oh. Well, Andy's standing behind me, so I won't actually use the language that I would normally use if Andy wasn't here. But that's just like the other one he just pulled off. It's the way it is, guys. So I'll give it a few more casts, and you know what? I better call it quits. Highlight of the trip was that chub. It's a shame I sat fish. I was talking to Andy at the time, and I had 2 or 3 perch, and then wallop, boom. But it was weird. It didn't go steaming off like carp normally do. He's just chuntering around here. And you get these feelings. You ever had it sometimes where you think, I've got a feeling this is going to ping off? And that's what happened with the other one. Right. Hang on. Hang on, guys. Got the camera in my mouth. He's going for the brushes. Oh my God. Just one fish happy would be nice. Let's have a look. It won't be a big fish. I feel that it's not going to be a heavy fish. God, he's digging now. This will be so good just to salvage it. And he's just literally pulled away with his buggy. Just as I was talking, that float slid away in this beautiful flat calm. But by God, it's getting cold now. Oh, I got pressure on him. On the limit, guys, on the limit. Come on, Graeme. It's just that horrible sick feeling when you've pinged off 2 good fish. I'm just gonna, I was just gonna do a talk saying I've got a hook that's, it's only a 14, but it's not a big fish. Trust me, it's not a big fish. It's a match rod, but it's a very, very thick wire hook, which I like for strength, but sometimes in the winter when they're just picking at the bait like these are, oh no, don't fight so hard. Don't fight so hard. Sometimes those thick wire hooks aren't great. I'd sooner have a nice sharp one. Not a big fish at all, honestly, not a big fish. I think this was one of a newer carp Andy's had in there. Yay! Happy days. There we go. A freezer clear out, an absolutely mint perfect mirror there. Not a big fish, but my goodness, what a scrap. And did he leave it late or what? Wow, he's a fatty, this one. Yet the water's not that cold. I can feel the fish is actually quite warm still. Well, let's get it back. And that is a salvage the trip. Perch, roach, chub, carp. What can I say? It's a freezer clear out. They eat it all. I'm going to be naughty. I'm going to squeeze another casting because I can barely see where the float was then. But it's worth a shout, isn't it, guys? Well, again, a few fish scratched out under fairly difficult conditions, really, but got lucky in the end. Now, been going through these kiddies again. The old slides, negatives, black and white stuff, all from years ago. And this time I thought it was something different. So, years ago, one of the greatest places to go fishing was Ireland. Southern Island, and I went over about 3 times a year, and we had great fun over there, going on different press trips and individual trips I did myself, different places. One of the places I remember was called Ballinamore. Was it County Leitrim? So many places. The Shannon, I fished all over there. It was really, really good fishing, and of course coachloads of anglers used to go there week-long holidays, catching bags of bream, roach, pike. I can't tell you, it's really good, you know. Rudd, big rudd, eels, the list goes on. And of course, Ireland has fantastic scenery. Yes, it's not called the Emerald Isle for nothing. It's green, and if it's green, that means rain. But when you get it right, oh boy, can you catch some fish. So what I'm going to do, I've looked through my old slides, I've looked through my old black and white negatives, done the best I can to cobble together some really old stuff to show you people what it was like. Well, I don't know, it's like that now. What it was like when I fished in Ireland years ago. You Irish guys over there, if you watch a show, tell us, what's the fishing like over there? I don't know, it's years since I've freshwater fished over there. So let us know in the comments what different places are fishing like. Let's start this little show on the road. So just look at the absolute amazing view here, the rolling countryside. Just the waters are nothing short of gargantuan in some of the places, the big locks. And here you can see this is a really old pictures, look. This was 40 years ago. And they just don't get the population density over there. Thank goodness that they've still got some decent countryside left. And I think that might have been Connemara. Now I could have got mixed up with some of these slides, as the black and white negatives especially are not date marked or date stamped. So I'm just going by memory, but going by the hills, would that be Connemara? And yes, we used to go out in the evenings. We were that mad, we would fish all day, and then invariably I'd go out with Paul, who was the angling advisor to the tourist board, and we would go out, we would get a map and go exploring, because I mean there's so many lakes and locks there, it stretches the river, unbelievable. And of course, you could go out the night before, try and find a decent spot which looks good, check out the features as best you can, and then you could pile some bait in there and hit it the next day, and fingers crossed you got some fish. Well, that was the theory, but of course if I went in May and June, it's light in the evening, so we would put like 10-hour, 12-hour fishing days in, and then go out in the evening, and because it's further west, it gets dark later, we probably fish till 10:30, and then Guinness or Murphy's. So half the fun we had was actually looking at the maps, and it was smothered in patches of water and rivers and streams, and just decided what on earth are in those rivers and streams. Very often there's only the local people to ask, and sometimes the local people didn't fish it. But as you can see there, the keep nets are out. This is how it was years ago. We used keep nets, so you don't get your knickers in a twist, anti-keep netters. We used keep nets, it was the way it was back then. And of course there's a lot of these places are small. Look at the size of the cattle and you'll get an idea. It looks like a little small pond. It's actually quite a decent sized lake. That could have anything in it. This one, listen to this lake, Look at the old sign. I mean, they've really got some character, haven't they? I can't even remember what was in there myself. But it used to be feeder fishing at distance, or you could do a sliding waggle float, you know, or a sliding float, fishing on the edge of the margins. Either way, look, there you got it. Lock rin. That's what the signs used to say. Bream, pike, perch, rudd. And trust me, they're in there in numbers, or they always were. There was just something magical about it. This was one of the locks, I can't remember. Used to catch bream there. And yes, years ago. But brilliant fishing over there. Once you get it right, especially quiver tipping, well, you look, guys, you would be hard pushed to use 2 rods years ago. And you can see in the background, everybody's got to keep it in the water, so you're fairly sure they're all catching fish. Several guys there. I guess this was a big press trip we were on, I don't know. I can't remember that far back, to be honest, even seeing the old negatives like this. Now, as well as those big locks, some of them are immense. They're like an inland sea. It's best not to forget or neglect some of the smaller lakes if you can suss them all out. And there are, must be thousands of them over there. They're lily fringed, they're reed fringed, they've got islands on them, they've been there years and years, many of them have not even been fished. Don't neglect those, because being smaller, maybe wooded, they're sheltered, they make brilliant float fishing areas. My goodness me, we've had some good fishing over there. If anything, I used to like fishing these as much, if not more, than the big, huge locks, because they're more personal. They have the lilies, they have the features, they have the rushes. Look at these nice fish. I mean, you don't. A lot of the time, these fish would never have probably even been caught by anglers. Some of the places we used to fish, I guess anglers in, like England, you know, every day to get waters hammered by the anglers over there. These fish have probably never been caught. Pristine, fin perfect, fabulous colours. This one, Nigel's even got his eyes shut. He doesn't look at it. It's such a nice big, I think it's rudd there. I lost a little bit of the angle on it. And of course, the tench. Not giant, fat-bellied, boilie-filled monster tench, just what I call nice size tench. Great big paddle tails there. Mostly, I would suggest people would be float fishing for them back then. You could catch them on the ledger, but most of the time it was the enjoyment of using a match rod, float fishing with a waggler float, getting up early and, you know, watching that float slide away. And you can get a mix on some of these small lakes and small ponds with bream, roach, rudd, tench. But of course the tench were very, very popular, especially in the shallow. Look at this for a catch. And you can see just behind the head back there of the gentleman that is full of lilies. Of course you lose the odd fish in the lily, it's going to happen, isn't it? But a lot of fish. This was, I believe, I think I'm wrong, somebody tell me, I think this was Len Head who was fishing with us over there. Who was a renowned tench fisher. I think he was secretary of the Tench Fishers Club, Group, Society. Somebody tell me, I'm sure it was. It's Nigel fishing on one of the big locks there. But as I say, you'd think you'd be banging out in the middle. No, you definitely always used to fish the ledge. And this is what we just don't seem to get much in the UK. Natural wild fish. Not smaller stock ponds that we all fish now as day diggers. Natural big ones. Oh, somebody tell me who the people are on here. You can always do a freeze frame on it. I just know the two on the right. In the forefront, Nigel. In the back, Paul Harris, who was the boss. I don't know who the other people are. There was no date on the film, as it says. Some of you older guys, do you recognise some of these? Let us know in the comments who you think these anglers are. And talking of float fishing, if you want roach, listen. If you got it right over there, good Lord alive, it was... You couldn't lift the net out of the water with roach. I mean, big ones, half-pounders. I don't think I've really caught, like, really big ones. They're £1.5, £2. But the general stamp, they're not tiny little weeny roach you get in some waters. These are real spankers, what we call palm-sized roach. If you got it right and loaded up there, as I say, you couldn't lift the net out of the water. I joke not. Check some of the pictures out. So finding the roach, as all fishing is key to it. And you can fish the pole, although most people did just use a waggler float and a match rod. But the pole anglers were, you know, getting the advantage on it. But look at the size of the roach. They're not like tiny 3-inch ones. Some very, very good fish in there. Swinging them into hand. This way for this. I think this was a £100 bag of roach. I know we did do it over there. We got the £100. I think this was £100 roach. Can't remember the angler's name. My apologies. It's some time ago. That is an incredible catch of decent big roach. And here's another one. I don't know what these were. Is 80s. I'm guessing you matchmen would know. I think there might be 80 pounds of roach in there. And all wild natural fish. That's right. There were humongous bags of roach they used to catch 10 years ago. Listen, if you get roach, you know what's coming next. Pike. Wherever those roach were, you got pike. Eventually, you would get bitten off. I mean, there were that many roach in some of these swims. Anything that's flashing and twisting differently than a shoal, when you hooked the fish up, stood out to a pike, you'd be winding in, bam, just grab you. A lot of the time they just bit off because you're just on light float fishing gear, maybe a stick float, 2.5, 3 pound bottom hook link, small hooks, sort of a one-way ticket. But I used to listen to some of the guys that were good at the roach fishing. I just roach fished. I wasn't as good as some of these match guys. They got the big bags, but we'd all listen to them. How did you get on, guys? Oh yeah, good fishing. I could have got 80 pound of roach, 80 pounds of roach, except I kept getting bit off by pike. Oh, that's a shame, isn't it? Where were you fishing? And then I'd go the next day, bag up, dead baits, pike, lures, and fingers crossed, action all the way. So don't neglect, if you go to Ireland, the pike fishing, but let us know, what is the pike fishing like nowadays in Ireland? And of course, it's rare to get a boat out there. When there were boats, I did a lot of boat fishing for pike, used to row around using it to trolling dead baits and sliding floats and stuff like that. And generally there are leaner, thinner fish than we get over here in the UK, and they scrap like crazy. You'd often get what we call tail walking fish that would jump out. And here's Paul, look, that shows you. He's obviously been catching small fish, having a good day, say float fishing or on the feeder, and then the pike move in on him. Well, if you get some dead baits and a wire trace, you can catch pike as well. And you can also get some chunky pike like this one. These are old pictures, people. But let us know what you think the pike fish is like there now. Of course, I left it till the end, but the main species, most of the guys went on holiday, say for a week. I think most people went for a week in Ireland, fishing holidays all over the Shannon, all different lakes, different river systems. It was brilliant fishing. They went for the bream. Now the bream shoals, I can't tell you how big they were just immense, but of course they would move around. They couldn't just stay in one spot eating. They'd eat all the wild insect life out and move off, wouldn't they, looking for food? They're constantly on the move. So if you wanted to stop one of these big shoals of bream going around, you had to fish what they call the ledge, where traditionally it would drop away from, say, shallow to deep water, because some of these big water locks are deep. You bait up on the ledge. If I said, you'd probably think we're crackers, that we used an entire sack of bait just to bait up the night before. We'd have a pyramid of big balls of ground bait like this, might be laced with sweet corn, a few maggots, something like that. Bait it all out. You needed a monumental amount of bait to stop one of those shoals, because they just come through, eat everything, gone. You catch 20 pounds of bream, you'd be going away, 20, 25 pounds, just get about 30 pounds of bream. This is 3 to 5 pound fish, average I would guess. And then it'll go quiet. Well, it's going quiet. They haven't gone off the feed, because nobody really fishes for them. That's the thing. On these huge locks, could be a dozen anglers on a huge stretch of the bank of one of these big locks. Doesn't even touch the sides. They would eat everything and move on. So you needed a lot of bait, but trust me, you certainly caught a lot of bream. The bream, they got a place, I think it was called Monalty Lake. Somebody said, was it Monalty Lake? They used to get the big bream. I think they were like 8, 9, you might get a 10. So by today's standards, look, not the same. But here, I don't know what I had there. Maybe I had, I'm guessing, 80, 100 pounds, something like that, 110, I can't remember. One of the locks that we baited up and fished, that would have been, this was a big catch. And this I remember was on the Shannon with, I think, a guy called Norman Wilkinson. And I think we had over 250 pounds of bream there laid out on the sheet. Trust me, that might seem an absolutely monumental catch, but it wasn't. People used to go for a week's holiday, they would catch this every day and bigger of fish this size. Also got stream fishing I used to do, pop around. This was the smallest of a wild brown trout. I went out with Paul one evening, we're checking out streams and rivers. I won about 3.5 pounds. This is the smallest one I caught, I think. Just rolling a worm around and watching the trout come and take it. So there's game fish there as well. Of course, if you make the mistake of being the boss, laying asleep there in the sun while all your angling writers went off fishing and doing their stories, it's a big mistake. And it's a big mistake because some of them, yes, are going to get a live eel and try and put it up your jumper. Not the best thing to do, falling asleep with some retrobaits like we used to have going on these fishing trips. So, man struggles fighting off an attack by a eel. And of course, I think we did such thing as putting them inside waders as well. Sorry to say, but we did. So there you go, guys, some pretty epic fishing in Ireland. So, you Irish anglers, tell us what it's like. Bream, rudd, pike, roach. Is it still as good as it used to be 40 years ago or longer? Can you remember, you know, how your fishing has been? Let us know. Now, I don't know, I'm going to move on to something else. I might even move on to something else. Don't go away, folks. I'm going to go over there in the files, have a look, see what else I can find.
Right, hi Graeme. I believe you've been out looking around the rivers and stuff, and this time of year, as we all know, accessing the river can be very difficult. So something I was talking to Graeme about was waders, and there's so many styles and fashions now. I've just picked out a few out of the cupboard which might sort of suit. So
the reason being, guys, I went out fishing, had the Wellingtons on, thought I'm treading on the grass, and got a booty on the edge.
Got a booty.
Yes, so I thought, should have worn the waders.
So the advantage of having a wader is a Wellington top, if you like, a Wellington boot. And this is a neoprene, so it'd be slightly warmer. So these were an older pair that we used to use out the back. So, but just size 8, it's what they call steel shank. So it's got a line in the steel in the actual sole.
And the sole itself.
But that is to stop it going through your foot. So if you stand on anything sharp. But good quality wellies, good quality soles normally. So that's the warmer version of what they call, we probably know them as a thigh wader, often known in the trade as a hip wader now, okay?
Yeah.
So I think they just come up slightly higher.
And they just clip on your edge of your waistband?
Yeah, yeah. So like if you've got, I'm not going to put them in and
they go through round.
They go through your belt, over and clip, just so you don't lose them. But to be honest, when you're wading, once you're in the water, or like up to your thighs and your knees, it sucks to your leg anyway. It's not going to move. It stays up.
I've not tried the neoprene version of those, but a guy put me on a neoprene Wellingtons, and they really, really are good. They do keep you warmer.
The warmth is essential this time of year.
Now these are the standard ones.
There's just a standard, cheaper one, just what they call like a PVC with a nylon lining in there.
Yeah.
But nice if you so like we see a lot of these people doing ponds and digging out their ditches at home. More so just because they're white clean. So, you know, you can get to the river, access it. You're not going to get a booty because you're there. Or if you're going to get a bit more serious, then obviously we go from a hip wader.
Best way with those I've found. I've had 2 or 3 pairs over the years. Well, more than that actually. Store them upside down, isn't it?
Upside down. Well, one thing, they hang nicely because when you leave something folded and creased, you ruin the material over time. And obviously, rubber being it will degenerate over time. So normally we store them is quite important as well. So I'd normally prefer something warmer. Utility room, not outside your front door in the porch, because that's what a lot of people do and they generally perish. But yeah, they store them upside down, and the other thing is you don't get things climbing up inside and making nests in your boot, which I'm sure many of you have had in the garage, digging out your wellies and think, why have I got half my boilies in my boot?
Yeah, the next film we're going to do today is to do with the rodents, so that's apt.
So those ones are by Ron Thompson, those are by Daiwa. There's a million brands out there, as we all know, so I've dug out some other ones. So we move on to chest waders. So a Shakespeare Sigma nylon chest wader. They retail.
They come to my head, Grant.
They do. So unfortunately, they make waders for one size. So although there be a chest, they do it by the foot size. Whether you're thin, fat, tall, small, big, whatever you like, whatever size, you've generally got to jump in them and take them what they are. So
Grant's way taller than me. I'd have a nose over the top of the glass.
So these are a size. Let's have a look. So size, they're a size 10.
Really? Yeah, I'd say boot size I'd be okay.
So boot size are okay. But to be honest, what happens is, all I find is, you pick waders and they seem too big. It's all about where your crutches sit for you to be able to move.
Yeah.
If it's a bit baggy in the leg, I find if you just roll them down nicely, like make a nice fold in them, when you go in the water, they suck tight to your legs. You won't notice it at all. It'll make no difference. The only thing my concern is you look at the width of some of the waders.
Yes.
They do extra sizable ones, should we say, for the larger fellows.
I see. Yes. Yes.
Which they will do same foot size. They will be a lot wider. So
you get a loose one like that years ago. I've never seen them that tall ever. But you can get a belt to go around them, can't you?
You get a belt to go around. These
or you just
actually
get
have a
yourself a belt.
drawstring across the top, which actually does quite help. If they're a larger wader, it stops it. I've done it. I'm sure you've done it.
Bend down, full of water.
Lift up, and you get a chest full of it as well.
And shoulder straps going with those as well.
Shoulder straps over the top, yeah. So one either side on the back, so sit across your back like that. Strap up. Yeah, nice little quality wader. I mean, those are retailing for 56, but that is just your nylon.
So they're not extortionately expensive, then?
No,
really?
no. So obviously
they go up, don't they? Yeah.
Neoprene really jumps up now. But what I've done, picked out a couple of others. So quite popular with the carpies, or to be honest, some of the guys that I sell to for pond maintenance. To be fair, this is like a heavy-duty nylon. You were saying how tall the other ones are. Well, let's just say I think these are a bit. These are called. Well, I think we call them neck waders, should we? They're supposed to be a chest wader, but I'm not quite that tall. So they are very large, but as I say, you just ripple them down. They're a size 11, so they would actually fit me as well. So, yeah, you just bunch up the legs to what suits comfortable. When you're in the water, they do bunch up.
They don't have to be tight, do they?
They don't have to be tight. You get drawstrings. These are quite nice. They've got the inner pocket for putting bits. Yes, you'd be amazed. Do not carry your mobile phone in them. I've seen a few people drop them out their way.
And you lean forwards, don't you? It's natural. Put a fish back, some a plop.
Yeah. So that's a heavy duty wade. I mean, feel the weight in the material.
Oh wow, yeah, that is.
But
yeah.
if you're doing some sort of maintenance or you're doing a work party, good. In fact, you don't pierce them easily. You can wash them down if you've been wading through silt and rubbish. You just literally scrub them with a brush and a bit of soapy water, wash them off, and they're ready to go again.
And these ones repairable? You can get kits for them?
So you'll get a repair kit with most in the boxes. I don't have one out of the box. I'll show you another in a minute. So yeah, you'll always get a piece of this material in the box with a glue repair patch to do your own repairs.
Like cycles?
Exactly, like cycles, same style thing. Clean the area, scratch it off to give it a rough surface. Then you put your glue on and stick your patch over the top, and away you go. I mean, the other option is you can come in here. We do repair tape and stuff like that as well.
Oh really?
Like one called Aquasil, Aquashore, and that sometimes if it would have torn the stitching, you can just push that into that like a jelly sort of liquid, and it'll just watertight.
Oh, that's something different. Yeah, never heard of that.
So we show you that sometime. So that's a heavy duty like a nylon, and then this is what we call a. Excuse the noise of the dog, as you can hear. It's just the end of the day for her downstairs. Right, so we've got a neoprene wader there, which obviously again thermal properties, keeps you a lot warmer. Maybe not a summer wader, but like this time of year, if you were standing in the river, like we were talking about, sometimes standing at the edge, getting a booty, put your chest wader on, maybe stand up to your knees in the edge, and you can lay your line flatter on the water and things like that. It's easier to access. So waders have a massive advantage. One thing I will definitely say is be very careful wading, because we don't know what's down there, how soft it is.
Use your landing net pole or something.
Landing net pole, or if you swing around this way, Graeme, I'll show you something else we use for the trout guys when they're wading in the river.
Wading staff.
Wading staff. So obviously a bit extreme if you're not going to go in it often, but if it's something you're going to do regular, I'd recommend one of these, because I do a bit of fly fishing in the river, walking up it, and I do find sometimes you hit a spot that's a bit silty. Amazing to hold on to, gives you something to perch and getting out.
To get out is the problem.
That's a big problem.
Having done tench pre-baited with chest waders in muddy lakes and gone out and gone, oh God, I can't get back.
You can't get back. So a wading start or a stick or a landing net.
And what's on the end of that?
That is just the bag there. So basically that would attach to my belt or go around my waist. So it's got a waist belt on it.
Yes.
So you can let go of it when you're fishing. Drop it, and it is still. It's always.
Oh yeah. So
you just pull the cord up and away it goes. So it's designed for fly fishermen that you're wading through the river, walking upstream. You can drop everything you're holding onto, and it just falls behind you, and it's still there if you need it.
Good thinking. I've done that. We've made sticks and then dropped them because you had a fish and gone. Where's it gone?
Yeah, I did with all my landing nets. Lost it, and we found it like 30 yards downstream in the bush, which it drifted off. So yeah, a wading staff or a pole or a landing net handle or a big stick, something like that. Be aware of what you're getting into the water on.
What's the repair facilities for neoprene? Because I've not.
Literally the same style thing. You'll get a neoprene patch. And you'll get a glue and adhesive that you can put over it, stick the patch back over, and it's pretty much there. It's pretty.
And have they got like a extra kneeling pad there?
So these are reinforced knees on here. And basically it just gives you a tighter area to kneel on and stuff.
Yeah, because you kneel down, you're going to hold a fish or something like that.
Yeah. So obviously stones and things like that you'd be aware of. But yeah, you take some beating to actually tear them, because they are very, As you see, that material's strong.
Oh, it's thick, isn't it? Yeah, it
It
is
is
thick.
thick. So I'd probably say it's about an 8mm neoprene. So yeah, shoulder straps, front pocket. Well, that's got a hand pocket, I think.
Yes,
Down there, a drainage pocket in the bottom,
Yeah,
fill it up,
yeah.
which I don't really see the point of, and I'd lose everything in that. But
It'll fall out.
yes, so but there we go. So neoprene waders, nylon waders. You get chest, hip, thigh, and neck waders.
And they'd nearly fit me, that one.
That one would. That's a bit more your size there.
I know the other one I'd be lost in, yeah, that's the same for the AA.
So, but yeah, wading, a very good thing to do. Can give you extra advantage of fishing, but just be careful and be aware of where you're getting in.
Well, there you go, people. There's something a little bit different, a mishmash of stuff. Thanks to Grant for his information there on the different types of thigh boots and waders available. Fingers crossed I can get out in the river myself and catch something just before the season closes. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this type of mishmash, breaking up different stuff, old school stuff as well, looking back at rivers, lakes, if you enjoy all that, just let me know in the comments, because I don't know, do I? Unless you people tell me. Fingers crossed next week there'll be another one with some fish in it, and I'm going to see what else I can find. I'm gradually easing my way towards boat fishing, shore fishing, and my best one, big game fishing. We'll see you next time. Watch Mike's TA Outdoors as well, different stuff on there. I hope we'll see you in the next issue. Issue? Graeme, you've written too many magazines, I know.